Welcome to Bulldog Talk, a podcast presented by Celina Curriculum. Today, my guests are Brittany, Giere, and Betsy, Bertke. Welcome to the podcast, ladies.
Hi. Thank you.
It's great to have you with us today. Let's jump right in with some questions. Ladies, just tell me a little bit about yourself and your current roles.
So I am an intervention specialist at the elementary building for third grade. I have been teaching for 7 years already. It's hard to believe. And I work mostly in the resource room this year. I work with 14 kids for reading in the resource room and 3 other kiddos in math. And then I also work with Mrs. Bertke to service some of our inclusion reading students as well.
And I teach third grade at Celina Elementary. This is actually my 13th year of teaching third grade. Before this, I taught 4 years in Piqua, and I taught first grade. So I was very excited to get this job here in Celina. I love third grade. And the last couple of years and in some years past, I've been working and co-teaching with Miss Giere I've been doing some inclusion, and then I've had some students who go to the resource room. So we've been working many years, several years together, servicing those students.
Brittany, you talked a little bit about resource room. Can you tell us what that is?
So a resource room is when students with disabilities come down. They might need extra help in reading or math, sometimes writing. So when they come down into the resource room, we give some more direct instruction that helps them with their reading skills. So some students might need some extra help in fluency reading. Some students might need some comprehension help. Other students might need some basic foundational reading skills, such as phonemic awareness and some extra phonics instruction as well to kind of help them along the way. So.
Okay. All right. Thanks for clarifying that for us. Just wanted to make sure everybody knew what we were talking about, and we're on the same, had the same definition of that. So you guys work together as a team. What's a typical day like for you guys at Celina Elementary and working with your students?
Well, for me, a lot of my day goes back to my planning. I have a whole week's full of plans, but usually at the end of the week, that's not actually all what happened. Most of the time, we start our day and Ms. Giere is in and out, working with individual students at my back table, sometimes pulls some students out in the hallway. And I teach inclusion reading. So, sometimes she comes in and helps some of the students. I typically am the leader, and then she is oftentimes, reinforcing the skill that we have learned that day in reading to small group. And oftentimes she's backtracking a little bit with those students with some skills that maybe they have missed in prior grades or have missed earlier in the year. So, our planning is constantly changing based on the needs of our students. What we plan to do one day may change by the next day, depending on the needs of our students. So that's one of the wonderful things I love about my job is that it's different every day. And even days where I think I know what I'm going to do, it's not actually what happens. So it always keeps us on our toes.
And I'm right there, Betsy, with you. Every morning, my routine starts off pretty much the same. The students know exactly what they're expected to do and what they're going to do every morning with me. And then as the day progresses, you have some things that interfere with your schedule. So as things come up and all that, students' schedules sometimes might even change. As far as communication, I'm kind of, like Betsy said, in and out of her room daily. I go in there to service her inclusion students. They come out and work with me. When I go back in, I might discuss with her some things that I saw within that student or some things that they did really well with me that I really wanted to let her know. So it's kind of an everyday communication. Like she said, our plans are changing daily. So whatever we leave Friday with and plan for the next week, it might be totally different when we come into school on Monday. Depends on what our students' needs are.
So it sounds like there's a lot of planning, a lot of communication that helps us be a successful team. How do you guys make it work? What makes it work behind the scenes? What has made this team be so successful?
I think with a big part of our team and our connection in getting the students to learn the way they need to is that we have been working together, like Betsy said, for a couple years now, that we've learned each other's teaching strategies. We are both very flexible. So if I come in and say, hey, I need to do this extra assessment, or I need to catch the student up with this work, Betsy's really flexible about letting me pull that student out to work with them one-on-one or in a small group when needed. Communication daily before the end of the day. If there's something that comes up with me, I make sure I communicate that to Betsy through text, through going down to her room and talking to her in person and things like that. That way we get that on our schedule for the next day, that we can discuss that for the next day if we need to. So there's a lot of just in and out communication every day that makes our co-teaching what it is.
And I agree. I mean, flexibility and communication are the number 1 and 2 important things when you're co-teaching with someone. You know, if you might have, you know, your plans for the day, but that, you know, is not exactly the only person you need to worry about is what you're going to do. You have to worry about what's best for the students. And I know Miss Giere, you know, she's always looking out for, you know, not only her students, but all the students in my classroom on what she can do every day, you know, to make them successful in my classroom. And so if we don't communicate with each other, that is not able to happen. So yeah, that's communication and flexibility are key.
Our goal is to provide instruction that has a positive impact on all of our students. How does co-teaching, where we have 2 teachers working in the same room, how does that have a positive impact on our students and helping them meet their needs?
I'll go first if you don't mind. I basically think, you know, when students, if they feel successful, it makes us feel successful. And then that creates a really positive learning environment. You know, when we see students feeling like they got it and, you know, those aha moments, you know, it makes them feel good about themselves, and it makes us feel like, hey, you know, this is working. And so I feel like, you know, that's good. That's a good impact on students and also on us. Yeah, it does take a lot more planning, and it is sometimes harder because sometimes, you know, we have to think outside the box. We have to, you know, we have to think about others' ideas. You know, it's not just about what we want or what's easy for us. We have to think about what's best for the students and what's, you know, also what works out with, you know, the co-teacher. So I've learned a lot. I've learned really a lot of things from this experience. So that also makes it a positive environment.
I think with co-teaching as well, I'm right there with Betsy. I've learned a lot of things. I've always worked in the special ed department. So working with a gen ed teacher and seeing what they do in the gen ed classroom is a huge eye opener to me that I wouldn't have gotten an experience if I wasn't in this situation or this profession. And I think through our co-teaching too, whenever we step in to co-teach a room together. So for example, I go in there to work with her in writing. She might be the lead, but then we've gotten so good at just being able to talk with one another that when I feel like a student may not understand her, we're really good at being able to read those student facials. I might reiterate it in such a way that a student might be able to understand it, or re-explain it in such a way that the students will understand it. So we just kind of really piggyback off of each other when we explain things. And oftentimes when I explain something, Betsy might piggyback off of me to kind of re-explain it in such a way that she knows her gen ed students might be able to understand it a little bit more. So getting to work together in that language barrier has been a huge impact as well, I think, because we've really learned, like she said, a lot from each other and how to initiate some conversations in such a way that all students will be able to understand.
So it sounds like you guys have an instructional delivery method here where we have a content specialist and a strategist that, you know, can kind of, both of you guys can play those roles to help meet the students on a daily basis. So it sounds like your partnership has really opened that up for our students.
Yes, she's amazing. She's a great teacher.
Thanks, you too.
All right. Hey, let's switch gears here a little bit and just talk about some of the wonderful work that's happening over at CES. You guys are working on some new programs or continuing some programs, such as be a Bulldog and some things we're doing with literacy. Can you guys talk a little bit more about some of those?
So I think with being a Bulldog, so we implemented the Be a Bulldog program through our PDIS. I think that has really shown a lot of growth in our students, especially the leadership within them. So students are now taking the initiative to do things that they're supposed to be doing without being asked to do those. I know every day I always joke with students, oh, you're going down to get a gumball. If it's pink, it's mine because I love pink. And just the smiles that they get walking down the hallway to go earn those gumballs when they earn their leadership stickers, their Be a Bulldog stickers. It really just shows how much growth and how much responsibility that they've taken in part of that.
And the way with the Bulldog stickers, they earn those like Britt said, just by doing the things that, they know they should be doing. When they receive that sticker, it says, ask me, how I got it or something. And if I've noticed that a student has one, I say, hey, how'd you get that Bulldog sticker? And they just, immediately they have a smile and they're very proud to tell me, oh, I helped Mr. Bill do this, or I helped in the cafeteria clean up a mess, or, and I think, just that pride in knowing that they did the right thing, has really carried over into their everyday life. At least I'm hoping so.
And I know going through, you also spoke about like the new literacy program that we're currently going through. And from me personally taking a part of that and searching behind to find a new literacy program for our district, I think that it's going to be a huge plus for Celina. I've enjoyed every step of the way, and getting a new literacy program and looking into everything behind the scenes that goes into it, I think it shows a lot as to teachers have really implemented a lot of interventions, but now it's going to take a mindset to how can we change that to make it even better with this new literacy program. And I'm really excited to see kind of what those changes will do with all of our student achievement in the future.
And I'm excited. I'm hoping that, with the new literacy program that we implement, that it creates more of a excitement in reading. I love hearing and seeing students excited about reading and finding the books that are, good for them and that they really enjoy reading. So I'm hoping with this new program that we see even more. We see that, but I'd love to see even more, especially with our struggling readers, the ones that are a little bit more hesitant to read. So I'm hoping it goes that way.
And for our people listening to this, we know that we are searching for our literacy program. Right now, we've got some choices narrowed down, and we're looking to make a purchase here this spring and start training our teachers and letting them be fully equipped in the classroom with not only great materials, but also to have the latest and greatest research and training, so that if they encounter any challenges or successes in the classroom, that they can handle them in the right way. So we know that we're looking to help out all of our students and make them be great writers and readers, so they can be great citizens out there for us. So we're looking forward to get that going. You guys mentioned some work that you're doing at CES. What about some work that you're doing professionally to better yourselves as far as some additional degrees or licenses? Are you guys doing any of that stuff?
So I am currently actually going back for my master's program in education, working with the building, and I work in the summer tech department. Throughout the summer, I do a lot of technology work, and that's kind of geared me in a way that I really wanted to further my educational career in technology. So I'm actually going back to Miami University. I just started it in the fall. So I'm starting a educational technology master's over there. And it's taught me a lot, actually. We've dug deep into how technology and why technology is great nowadays and how it affects learning and how what different programs there are out there. So I've gotten a little taste of different programs that are out there that I never realized that can help our struggling readers, that can help our struggling math students, that can help our struggling writers, or even enrich those students who need to go above and beyond what they can already do.
And I already have my master's, but I am always taking classes. I've I'm currently not, but usually in the summertime, I try to take a class or two. And the last couple of years, since I knew that we were going a different route in our literacy, I've been doing a lot of taking a lot of literacy and reading courses to become a better reading teacher. You know, there's always room to improve. And I know, you know, that's something that our district's focusing on. So I wanted to be helpful and, you know, try to be successful in that area. So.
It's great to hear that you guys are looking to continually grow, you know, as professionals. It's great to hear that. It sounds like the pandemic has really opened up, you know, a lot of our teachers' eyes, and they're more aware of what's out there as far as products and programs. And it's great that you guys are out there continually, you know, sharpening the saw, as they like to say, looking to always improve. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
So,
I enjoy it.
We've talked a lot about some programs that are happening at the building level. What's your outlook for the rest of the year? We've been face to face here all through the school year, and we got a big spring ahead of us. What's your guys' outlook for the next couple months?
For me, I am, you know, continually, as I have been all year, you know, trying to find and fill up those gaps. You know, the students, we lost a lot last spring, you know, with not being in the classroom, and you know, we're continuing to see, oh, you know, they didn't learn that, or they didn't, either they learned it, or maybe they just need some more help with that. So I'm hoping by the end of the year, we get those gaps filled in for what had happened last year. And I also hope to, you know, reach all the students as far as all the reading skills and all the math skills for what they're required to learn in third grade. So I'm hoping to, you know, get those all in, but also have them master those skills, because I'd love to see them go on to fourth grade with confidence and feel like, you know, they're not behind anymore, that they're right where they need to be. So, you know, that's my goal. I know it's a long shot that they're going to be exactly where they need to be, but I keep my goals high.
And I'm right there with you, Betsy. I know with the setbacks that COVID gave us and being off in the spring, that some of our students came to us a little bit behind, and we really worked together, I would say really well, to make sure the students needed the intervention that they got, or that they needed to increase those skills that they, like Betsy said, either missed or didn't quite master. So I think, and I would like to continue to see that progress made. I know with many of the students I worked with this year, I've challenged them in ways that I typically may not challenge them, because I wanted to see more growth out of them because of the setback. And my kids, all of my students have done just that. They've done exactly as I've asked this year. They've put in the extra work to kind of catch them up in ways that maybe they wouldn't have needed if this pandemic wouldn't have happened. But all of them responded really well. So coming to the last few months of school, I'd like to keep challenging them and keep filling in those gaps that they may have missed from the springtime.
It's great to hear that you guys are still working to, you know, keep challenging our students, keep offering that stretch, and having them continue as learners. So I'm hoping that they have the same level of enthusiasm that you guys do heading into the spring with some new learning.
Most of them are pretty excited. I know they're starting to get that warm spring fever coming on, but most of them are still, they all still know exactly what they have to do, and be in that Bulldog to do what they need to do and take on those responsibilities as well. So I know we're going to end the school year on a great note.
Yeah, the sun is definitely shining today. There's no clouds, but I still have some snow sitting right outside my window here. So it's almost spring, I guess.
Hopefully won't last long.
Hey, let's end things up here with a fun segment about the Bulldog barks. Could you guys give or send out a couple of Bulldog barks to our Celina community?
I will start. I would like to send out a Bulldog bark to our PBIS teams. I know along with the pandemic last year, they have been working really hard to implement this Be a Bulldog program. So everybody, I know there's administrators and other staff members that have been working really hard behind the scenes to make it what it is now. So I'd like to give a shout out to them, as well as our literacy team. I know it's not been an easy process, but anybody that is on that literacy team, hang in there, and I know we'll make make our literacy program something great for every teacher and every student in the district.
And I'd like to give a shout out to two different groups of people. The first is our parents. This year and last year, the end of last year, have been very challenging, and there's a learning curve, and a lot of us teachers, we were not, ready for that. We weren't ready to go completely online. We weren't ready. And we had to learn a lot. And I know the parents had to learn even more. And, that takes a lot of patience and understanding. And actually most of the parents and almost all the parents that I've dealt with last year and this year have really, really stepped up and done more than they've ever had to do as far as educating their child and communicating with their teacher. So I want to give a shout out to all parents out there who've made it through so far. And I also want to give a shout out to the Call Food Pantry. When they, every Friday, they donate food to, students who need it over the weekends. And that's one of their basic needs. And I really, I feel good every time I see students, walking home with those bags that I know that, they have what they need for the weekend. And I think that's a great program that they do for us.
Those are some great barks, ladies. It's great to hear you congratulate and give some shout outs to some well-deserved people in our school community. So with that being said, thank you for being on today's podcast. I greatly appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.